Hello and welcome to the SuperShow podcast. I'm back, bitches. It's me, Chris, if you didn't know. Because maybe you can't see my lovely face. And hi, I'm joined today with Jamie and Jonesy. What's up, fellas?
What's good?
Best intro ever.
Yeah, well, thank you for holding the fort last week. I really do appreciate it. But I'm back now. So, no need to worry. No need to have wet feet. Alex Jones.
Oh, God.
It's nice today. It's a good temperature. I don't need the wet feet. I've got socks on even.
So I can wear a hoodie today. I'm happy.
Yeah, it's a decent temperature. For those who don't know, who didn't watch last week's episode, A, how dare you go and watch it? But B, it was 31 degrees plus, and Jonesy was really feeling the heat, and he put his stanky feet in a bucket of water to cool down.
Yeah,
it worked. It was a good plan.
When I heard it, I was like, you know what, this makes absolute sense. So, fair
Although
play.
the bucket was a bit squeaky, and at one point, Jonesy lets out what sounded like a fart, and actually, we got accused in the comments of someone farting, and it's just Jonesy's squeaky feet.
It could have been the mouse, because there's a mouse who lives on the shed rack over there. Yeah, as I'm sitting here, like the other day, after the pod, to be fair, it was crawling around because I could hear it like scuttling. And I came in once and I'd left a packet of like a Whatsits packet on the floor down here, and it had shredded the packet.
Oh,
Jesus Christ, I couldn't deal with that. The one time I had mice in my house, I had to leave the house the day I saw one, and I didn't come back till I had the exterminators with me, and we fucking gassed them. We killed them all.
What? I used to have pet rats. So
oh no, you're a wrong one.
They're amazing pets. They're so much better than like a gerbil or a hamster.
Well, hold on, listen. Is this a fucking rat cast or a games cast? Come on, boys. We talk about games here, and we talk about them on YouTube, and we talk about them on a podcasting platform of your choice. I'm talking Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Deezer, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, all of those fucking ding dongs. There we go. All right. But guys, we got a lot to talk about today, all right? Because some shit's been going down, not almost not directly related to gaming, but like gaming adjacent. So we're going to get into some bans on Twitch. We're going to get going on the future of the Xbox, and a couple of games that have been so poorly received that they've gone back to the drawing board. But before we get into all of that, I just want to let people know that we are, of course, a gaming podcast that is supported and funded, fully funded, I shall add, by our lovely patrons. So if you would like to support this and help us keep doing what we're doing, because we do a podcast every single week to the best of our ability, you can go and head on over to patreon.com/supershow and sign up. You can get Discord access. There's additional podcasts. We've got something called Super Show After Dark, where we just kind of talk about, anything that takes our fancy, really. Could be games, could be, I think the last time we spoke about life as YouTubers, really, and all of the kind of what it's like being in front of camera.
Spoiler alert, this week we're just going to talk about killing rats.
Maybe, you never know. And in fact, last week you guys did a recorded a live watch-along of the Cyberpunk Night City Wire, which was very good. I watched it, so nice one.
Cheers, pal.
Nice one.
And of course, we're coming to you because we are supported by a few of our patrons already, and I've got some names to read out. These are the people that bring us to you. And I'm talking about Brett Zerbrick, aka Shellshock, Hacksaw Book Read, Manuel Guerrero, Mindful Pig, Nathan Piers, Peaswad, The Dude Abides, William Sherry, and of course the two big boys, Lonnie Thompson and Skylar fucking Music. Hell yes, boys. So thank you everyone for making the dream come true, keeping the dream alive. And,
talking patrons, we played a bit of Warzone with Skylar Music yesterday.
We did. The dude's very good at Warzone. What can I say? But we can catch it. We'll talk about that in the catch up, I guess. But before we get into that, I want to bring up a comment of the week, which is something that I like to do. Kind of give back to the community, as it were. And today we've got one from Krail999, who is actually on our Discord as a patron. So thank you. So last week I wasn't in, and Jamie, I think it was you who said, write a haiku to let Chris know how much you miss him from the mix, which always nice to hear. So he says, haiku, Chris missed this week's stream, hope he is doing well still, want to take his beard.
Yeah,
that's a good haiku.
The only haiku we had come in, And I nearly wrote one myself, but I had to remind myself of the rules, and I thought these rules are fucking bullshit.
Yeah. There was definitely a couple of more. I read a few more.
I could have sworn I was looking for some, and I couldn't actually find any, but I might have been wrong. I might be blind, and if you did leave a haiku that I didn't see, I genuinely apologise. That's actually kind of ridiculous.
I like this one. Not only because my name's in it, so thanks, Crail. But what's cool about it is he says he wants to take my beard. Now, for those of you who don't know, back in the ATG days, I was streaming some Dota, and I think I lost my first match, and then Crail was like, "Oh, I bet you're going to lose this one." And I was like, "All right, put your money where your mouth is." And he's like, "All right, if you win this, I'll shave off my beard." I was like, "Yeah, cool. You said it. You said it." And I think the inverse was possible as well. If I lost it, I would have shaved off my beard. But I won, and he shaved off his beard. And in fact, the profile picture on his Discord is him with a half shaved off beard and the other half still on, which is a great fucking picture. Maybe one of the all-time greats. So cool yeah, thanks for the comment, Crail. If you'd like to have your comment of the week read out, then leave some interesting stuff on our YouTube video. All right, guys. Well, it's been a while since I've properly caught up with you, at least on podcasting terms. So what have you been up to? Jamie, you finished The Last of Us. That was what you mentioned last week. But anything since then?
Yeah, because it's finishing The Last of Us 2, you're left in a kind of a weird place in terms of where do you go next and what do you play next.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you need something wholly relaxing, I guess, or just not nearly as stressful or intense. But I didn't have that much on my to-do list that really fulfilled that criteria. So the first thing I actually went back into was the wonderful world of Mafia. Because, so I think around mid-May, Mafia 2 Definitive Edition got released, and Mafia 3 Definitive Edition, as they called it, got sort of re-released. But they were both in a pretty poor place, if you guys remember. Mafia 3 had the infamous thing where they released a patch that accidentally rolled back the Xbox One X and PS4 Pro upgrades somehow, so the game looked worse than it had looked for years.
But somehow I'm not surprised, but yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Mafia 2 Definitive Edition was just a wholly shocking remaster of a game. A disastrous remaster that introduced bugs that weren't in the original and ran worse than any other console on the PS4 Pro, which is what I decided to play it on. So lucky me. While we were all deep in The Last of Us 2, they did release a patch for both games at the same time. And I'm happy to report that both games are significantly improved, but not perfect.
But that's fine, right? Like, as long as they're playable.
I mean, it's a little bit annoying because Mafia 2 is now playable, and I finished Mafia 2 in the last couple of days. Mafia 2 as a game is still a lot of fun. It's aged in the ways you'd expect it to age, but I think in its narrative hooks, some of the things it does that I can't say because they're kind of spoilers, are still kind of unique, weirdly enough. Like, not many other games in that genre do it, and that's exciting. Cool. But
it's also quite
still buggy. Game. It took me like 9-10 hours because it's not really... Yeah, it's not really open world. It's set in an open world, but you don't have to engage with that open world at all.
Yeah.
But it's still buggy. It's still buggy in a way that you can't call that game the definitive edition. Like, you can't, like...
Maybe it needs the bugs to be definitive.
Maybe it's part of the package. I had some really annoying bugs, but then... And I played 2 or 3 hours of Mafia 3 last night, just to see where that was at, and... That game still looks like mud to me. It looks like someone's just smeared mud all over the screen every time I play it. And it's really distressing because for anyone that doesn't know, Mafia 3 also has a potentially very interesting narrative hook where the conceit is that you're essentially watching a documentary about what the protagonist of the game did during the events of the game, and you're watching it after the fact. So it's made up of there's people being interviewed who you interact with in the main story, and they're being interviewed 10, 15, 20 years later. And there's weird 16mm film excerpts from court cases around what the main character in Mafia 3 does. Really cool idea, and then it completely falls flat when you get stuck into the game itself. So,
I found that really disjointed the way they tried to do that, because when you're playing the game, it doesn't feel like you're involved in that at all, and then it just weirdly jumps to people talking about stuff that happened. And I'm like, how did they know? They weren't there. It's just kind of a weird thing. But
one guy's meant to be a researcher. He was a former bureau guy who kind of knows a lot of the facts. But I get where James is coming from. I think it's not helped by the fact that there's just. The story moments are too sparse in Mafia 3. It's a game designed around repetitive open world activities. in a way that just doesn't suit it at all. So yeah, Mafia is still a bit weird, and that definitive edition of the original, Chris, I think you're the one who was kind of interested in it. That's coming out,
Mafia 1, for sure.
Yeah, that's coming out late August still, apparently, even though the gameplay debut was meant to have already happened during IGN's thing, and they cancelled it without a statement. So make of that what you will. I hope that's not another case of a remaster going back to the drawing board.
I mean, so far they're 2 for 3, right? So 3 for 3 is not a far off kind of assumption.
Dude, like I really potentially love that franchise. I hope they're not fucking it. The other thing I'll give a quick shout out to is a game that I've played for about 3 hours now, inspired by the streams of our own friend Steph Murphy over on twitch.tv/TechnoOvo, and that's Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Oh, nice. I've got that loaded on my PC. I just haven't found the time to.
Dude, like, I think both those games, Blind Forest and Will of the Wisps, are just kind of, I know this is a corny word to use for a video game, but like, majestic is the word that comes to mind. Majestic is the word that comes to mind. Like, dude, there's something about that art style and the way it flows and the way it feels that, I don't know. Apparently this one, the recent one, Will of the Wisps, learns a lot of lessons from things like, what was that game called? You played it on the Switch, Chris. Hollow Knight.
Oh, Hollow Knight, yeah.
And I never played Hollow Knight, so I can't see that. But there's new stuff like there's NPCs and vendors now. You're buying maps to reveal certain areas and things like that.
That's straight out of Hollow Knight,
Yeah, so a lot of people were talking about how that was clearly an influence. And I really like it. So
Hollow Knight's a good game, so it's a good game to be influenced by.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, not a bad place to take your ideas from. Or inspiration.
Yeah, I've got both of them, both the Oris loaded on my machine, thanks to Games Pass, because that's a fucking
hell yeah,
the best deal in gaming bar none. And I have yet to play them, which I'll get through to it.
Like Games Pass gives you too many games.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing with Game Pass. You're spoilt for choice all year round.
No, you see, but you got to if you don't look at Games Pass and say, like, don't treat Games Pass like your Netflix, right? Where you like, oh, what am I going to fucking watch? I don't know. Let's go through the menus of Netflix. If you have a game in mind and you're like, I wonder if it's on Game Pass, you look at it, it's there. You just do that and you don't go back and look at Games Pass. That's the best way to kind of do it.
I did treat PlayStation Now a bit like Netflix, and it was a real mistake. I started playing a whole bunch of awful shit that I was like, what's that? What's that? And I should never have done it.
Yeah. I've got to admit, maybe I'm doing it wrong as well then, because I've got like a sort of a rough to play list, and I keep looking at Game Pass and things like that and seeing what I could play. And now I've got random things like, I should go back and play Dishonored 2 because I never played it. But then it's also because I watched that Arcane documentary that NoClip did, and I really want to play an Arcane game now.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, like Blind Forest is a 5-hour game that holds up like fairly well. It doesn't have as many ideas as Will of the Wisps, but I played that back in sort of February, March time in a couple of days. And
I'll tell you what, I'll probably take it as a palate cleanser between The Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, totally. Right? Well, you're running out of time, dude. Ghost of Tsushima's in what, like 2 weeks? Long. 2 weeks tomorrow? 2 weeks tomorrow, yeah. 2 weeks by the time people are listening to this.
Fucking hell. Here we go. Hey, I don't need to play Ghost of Tsushima as soon as it comes out. Although, let's be honest, I probably will.
So. I guess that's what we're waiting for from both of you, right? Is Last of Us 2 updates. That's what you've both got going on at the moment.
Yeah. I'm 12 hours in. I think I'm a little bit further along than you, Chris. Not by much, though, I don't believe. So yeah, we're about.
I think I'm about 9 hours.
Okay,
give or take.
Can't talk about any of it. Don't want to spoil any of it, but no, I'm still loving it. I still think it's a fantastic game so far. I haven't got to any of the points that apparently ruin everything about the game and mean that it deserves to be cancelled and get a 0 out of 10.
Technically, you've gone through the first biggest kind of thing, right? So.
Oh yeah, which I had no problem with whatsoever. So we'll just see how the rest of it.
Man,
I'm looking forward to the spoiler cast so much.
Yeah, I want to talk about it so badly, but I'm kind of holding my tongue a bit. I think it's fine. I think it's good in a lot of.
Fine.
No, it's good in a lot of places, and it's at least for me a little bit average in some other places. But it's still early days. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm in it for the long haul. I'm not going to pull a Uncharted and get to like the last 2 hours and then just put the game down and say, fuck this game. I mean, I might, but I don't think I will. I think I'll see it through.
If you're that far into like a game that's as long as Last of Us 2, I think you've got to stick it out.
Yeah, the thing was when I was doing it with Uncharted, it was like, this was last year, and it's kind of like, well, who cares if I fucking finish this game? Like, it's not in any conversation or whatever. I already know like the end. Like, fuck it, who cares? Whatever.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, The Last of Us is a bit different. From my perspective, just played some more Dota. I've been really busy with stuff, actually, like non-gaming stuff, and it's been a bit annoying.
That's
actually.
life.
Yeah, it fucking sucks, dude. It's been a bit annoying because I'm like, I really want to play this, that, the other, and just to paraphrase Jurassic Park, life gets in the way. But one good thing that's come out of Dota is I had my first hat trick in fucking since last year, like mid of last year. So
like winning 3 games in a row.
Yeah, dude.
Wow, I didn't realize that was that rare.
It's probably not. I've just been having a really problematic run. The problem is, like, with that game is it's a game that more so than any other, it punishes you if you don't play often. If that makes sense. And I know I come in here each week and I'm like, oh yeah, I play some Dota, but I don't actually play often. I'll play maybe like 2 games a week, and it's not really enough. Because there's this innate, you'll know it, Jamie, especially from kind of like playing some Warzone. There's this innate understanding of game flow that just you need to be a part of the game and play the game constantly to kind of have that flow kind of click with you in a way, right?
Yeah,
in terms of like the timings and what you should be doing, this, that, the other. And obviously, games like Warzone and Dota, they're constantly evolving. So whenever a new patch comes out, it kind of like it changes that flow. And if you don't practice enough with that flow, you just don't. You struggle to get into it. And then you're playing with other people that probably do have that flow, and then it's a higher thing. But I played this. I got the hat trick on the day that the new patch dropped. So I think that was like level playing field in terms of, do you know what the flow is? And we're all on the same page, and fucking smashed it 3 games in a row.
Had you watched your 24-hour long video that summarized the patch? Was that your preparation, or had that not come out yet?
What's that? Sorry?
Had you watched your 24-hour long video summarizing the patch?
the patch rundown by Purge? No.
Yeah, the Purge patch.
He did do one. I didn't watch it. I read all the patch notes, but I didn't watch it. This patch note was only 1.5 hour video, but I haven't watched it yet.
Fair enough.
Maybe don't. Maybe just sack it off if you've already read the notes.
And you're already winning without it, so clearly you don't need it. Yeah.
Hashtag winning. Well, I'll let you know next week if I've continued the streak, but yeah.
Yeah, you're about to go Chicago Bulls, back-to-back hat tricks.
Yeah, the 3-peat. Fuck, yeah. Well, anyway, other than that, played some Warzone with you guys. Jonesy, you tried to stream it last night at the time of recording.
Didn't work out for some reason.
No, I don't know what it was. I have exactly the same setup I always use for streaming, and it wasn't working. So I don't know if there's something to do with my local, because I was wired as well. It wasn't even in wireless, and I've got a pretty decent internet connection.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure.
Someone on the Discord said it's probably too many porn viruses. So
that could be the thing. That could definitely be the thing. But no, I have no idea. So I'll have to take a look at everything, run a couple of tests, and see what's going on, because I haven't had that issue before, so maybe I've just been lucky. But no, last night I wasn't up to much. Do you know what it'll turn out to be? Is like one of my kids put peanut butter in the end of the Ethernet cable or something. That's why it doesn't work.
That would be really
tasty.
Funny. Can I just say a shout out to Innocent Juice's Bolt from the Blue? Look at that juicy blueness.
Is that what that is?
I did want to ask what the heck you were drinking. It looked disgusting. But
I thought the colour looked fine, but it looked too thick almost to be tasty.
It's not really that thick. It's quite watery, but I know what you mean, because it's got this like cloudy elements to it.
Yeah, exactly.
For those people listening on podcast platforms,
it looks like greeny blue milk.
Yeah, greeny blue. Almost like the milk that Luke Skywalker squeezes out from the tits of that sea beast in
don't drink it
in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, no,
maybe don't drink it.
Yeah, he's in The Last Jedi. Yeah,
The Last Jedi.
You did well to have any drink left, because in a little peek behind the curtain, a little bit of inside baseball, I've now been sat on my computer for about an hour and a half, regardless of how long the podcast you're listening to at the moment has actually been going for. So my monster has well and truly been guzzled. And now I'm just sat here, and do you know what? My I've got a thirst that needs to be quenched, but I can't get up from my seat because we're recording.
If I could pass you some of my Coke Zero from McDonald's, I would.
I wish. I wish. I just want a McDonald's in general, to be honest.
Yeah.
I had a McDonald's when it first came back to delivery, but now I'm just not craving again, but I think just...
I haven't had any since it's come back. And you know what the thing is? Like, okay, McDonald's it's fine. It's McDonald's. But it's one of those things of like, well, you can't have it, so you want it.
Then you want it.
Exactly. Do you know what I did?
Have it, then you want it.
Like 4 or 5 days ago, first one since lockdown, Nando's. Just
hadn't
had one for a while. I thought, yeah, sure, I'll get a Nando's delivered out here, and it was good. It was still Nando's, much like McDonald's was still McDonald's. It turns out. So
hadn't changed that much.
Maybe we should all have more patience for that shit, because it's just going to be the same shit waiting for us when we go back.
Yeah,
it's true.
Maybe.
I think. Were you done with your gamey stuff, Chris?
Yeah. Just the other thing I wanted to bring up, this is going to be of interest to you, Jonesy, is I've started watching Dark season 3 on Netflix.
Oh, nice!
Just one episode in. Still confusing as fuck.
Me too. I'm one episode in as well.
Yeah, I probably have to go back and watch some recaps from season 1 and 2 because, fuck, man, like shit happens. Like, oh yeah, that's Mads Nielsen, and you're like, who the fuck was Mads Nielsen again? Because I watch it all in German, Jones. I hope you're watching in German as well with subtitles.
I do watch in German with the subtitles. Yeah. I can't do the dubbing's awful. Yeah. I can't do it.
And to be fair, it's not
dubbing in general, not their dubbing's awful. Like, I hate dubbing.
Yeah,
it's just so strange.
Yeah. But yeah, so I got that on the burner, and hoping for good things, fellas. I've heard that the ending of that does it justice to the series. So
okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's all I got.
Yeah, because this is the final part. 3rd season of Dark is supposed to be the conclusion to the story so far, because the whole thing's been a continuous story, isn't it? But we've just started it. We're 1 episode into the 3rd season, and I don't know. At the moment, I'm still like, what are you doing with this? So we'll have to see. Yeah. But tell you, so I've played some more Last of Us, but the main thing I've done this week, gaming wise, is it was Father's Day in the UK a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't get anything. And my wife was like, I don't want to get you anything because I wanted to get you something really cool. And she said she was going to get me a gaming chair. And so day before, she pre-ordered me the Cyberpunk 2077 Secret Labs Titan gaming chair.
Dude, that is fucking cool. That is fucking cool.
I think I've got to wait till September to get it. Obviously now that still gives me like a month until the game comes out, so should be cool. But yeah, man, I've also followed them on Twitter, so now I keep getting just people sending, because there's some people who ordered on the first batch who've already got the chairs. They got them like 2 days in and just been like, "This is the sickest chair ever," and I'm just like, I've got to wait months.
Are you gonna put it in the room you're in now, or?
I probably will. This old sofa will go, and I'll get a proper like desk where I can, it's a bit taller, and get the gaming chair in here. Get it in the little studio.
Nice.
And then I'll be laughing.
Very nice.
Jesus.
Yeah. I was looking at. I was chatting to you guys on the Discord, but not on the Discord, on WhatsApp. But I'll say it now. I was looking at the minimum recommended requirements for Cyberpunk. And they reckon an RTX 2060.
Yeah.
Looking at the specs of my laptop, it can do everything except it's got a 1060, not a 2060. So like CPU, RAM, hard drive space, all of that shit, it's all sorted. But yeah, man, just.
I think even the people who were playing the preview builds, right? They were playing it on 2080s and they were playing it at 1080p. And
I think 2080 Ti's, and they were playing it at 1080.
And the consensus was that the frame rate seemed fine, but then again, you're playing on a 2080 Ti at 1080p. You're not even necessarily wanting a fine frame rate; you're wanting a good frame rate.
Yeah, but I don't know. But they were streaming it, right? All those people that
it's true. Not everyone. Not everyone. I want to say I watched Skill Up's coverage, and he said that he played it at a physical location.
Yeah, he did say that. Yeah. Well, that's interesting because Chris, you know more about this, the PC stuff than I do. So what I found interesting was there was one outlet, I can't remember even who it was, who basically they said that because they were running, I think it was DSS 2.0, which is it changes the actual resolution that you're getting, but it's supposed to make it look like a higher resolution.
DLSS.
CLSS, sorry, but it gives you it maintains the frame rate whilst dipping the resolution so that you don't get frame rate dip. But they were sort of saying that in some situations the resolution had gone right down, but they were kind of saying it was a bad thing and that the game was struggling with a 2080 Ti on 1080p. But then obviously I watched Skill Up's coverage and he was sort of saying like I had solid 60, 70, 80 frames a second at HD and it was silky smooth. So there's a bit of, I don't know, I'm seeing a little bit of disagreement between the community. So I don't know what you guys think about that.
I think it's possible that they might have just ticked off DLSS, like ticked off that box. It might have made it a more stable thing for certain elements. I don't know. I'm also wondering in terms of the minimum requirements, if because obviously they're partnered, what seems to be they're partnered with NVIDIA, and I wonder if it's just NVIDIA saying like, hey, we've got to push 20 RTXs,
right?
Push the ray tracing. So maybe a 1060 is fine. In terms of like 2080 Ti, dude, this is a game that's coming to the Xbox One and the PS4 Pro. If a 2080 Ti is going to struggle with any aspect of that game, then they shouldn't release it on consoles, and that's.
But if you've got to turn all the settings off, if you've got to turn ray tracing off and loads of other stuff off, and you've got like a 1080, then that does seem ridiculous.
Yeah, but here's the thing: what if the console version just looks like arse?
So that's how they get around it.
I mean, it's
awful.
I doubt
it's absolutely. Look, all I'm going to say, you mentioned that it seems like they're partnered with NVIDIA, Chris.
Yes.
Back in 2018, we were quite close with, well, we still are in some respects, quite close with some people at NVIDIA. And when we went to E3 that year, we got to see the first ever behind closed doors Cyberpunk 2077 presentation.
Yeah.
And that was through NVIDIA. So it's a relationship that appears to have its roots going some far, like a couple of years back.
There he is, Jonesy with the
exactly.
RTX.
I've just realised. This is not on purpose. I'm wearing my freebie RTX shirt.
This was the year that they announced the RTX, but it was before it. It was a couple of months before it. And we went to see that behind closed doors Cyberpunk demo, like we said. And I think the interesting thing about all those demos is they've always been run in real time by someone sat in the room playing the game. And that was still the case all the way back in 2018, 2 years ago. And I remember us having a conversation about what the game was running on in that state. And the guys who worked for NVIDIA alluding to like, it's basically running on a fucking supercomputer that we basically gave them something that doesn't even exist for commercial purposes to run that game. And obviously that was a 2-year-old super unoptimized, probably not even optimized at all version of the game. Yeah. But for me, there's always been this feeling. I remember leaving that behind closed doors presentation and all of us agreeing, even the dudes who worked for NVIDIA themselves agreeing, we just saw a next generation game. Yeah. And now we know it's not. But what does that mean for what the game looks like and how it runs remains to be seen.
Yeah. It worries me a little bit for the idea, because obviously when it releases, it's going to release right at the same time as the PlayStation 5, and my intention was always get the PlayStation 5, play Cyberpunk on that. But obviously if they have to nerf the console version and you don't have the update that can run on the next gen, then am I going to be playing a game on my PlayStation 5 that could look better on the PlayStation 5 but doesn't and looks like shit? Because my plan is to get it on the PlayStation. And is not to and
they haven't necessarily
PC yet.
You guys had discussed it in last week's one. We briefly touched on it the week before as well. The announcement saying that like, oh yeah, there'll be an update. You buy the game on PS4, there'll be an update for PS5 or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And Xbox Series X as well. Yeah.
But the wording didn't make it seem like it was going to be available at launch.
Correct.
I think the wording made it seem like definitely not. It's definitely not available at launch. I think it was no ambiguity. Yeah. It basically said, Jamie even made the point during our Patreon exclusive video that they basically have a little blurb at the bottom of the video at the very end that said also will run great on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, but they can't put it on as like a PlayStation 5 Xbox Series X game because it won't be available in those versions until later.
Yeah, so I don't know, it's kind of madness, man.
I find that whole situation still mad. Like, another game in the form of Marvel's Avengers came out and was like, yeah, we're going to give you a patch for PS5 and Xbox Series X improvements. The thing that I still can't wrap my head around. Can
I just say that I fucking called it, like, from the word go, didn't I?
Yeah, but there's still the part that I'm confused about, and throw out your opinion on this, which is that we do have a couple of games coming forward now and saying, yes, we will support the next-gen consoles with patches that are designed to implement new features or whatever it is that take advantage of that hardware.
Sure.
But even with Xbox having an initiative called Smart Delivery, which they're out there advertising, companies aren't forced to do this. It's still optional. And won't companies want to release versions of those games again with the name of the next gen console fucking on the box for the sake of argument? And if they do that, will those versions be fundamentally identical to the old version of the game with a patch?
Yeah.
Like, do we all agree that there will be on store shelves a game that says Cyberpunk 2077 with a PS5 banner on the top?
Yeah.
Do we agree that will happen at some point?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Is that going to be identical to the PlayStation 4 version with a patch?
Yes.
I would have thought so.
Yeah,
I hope so. But also,
I can't see how it's not. But then, in my mind, what they do in that instance
but then, like, what can you do in a patch? Like, what can you like?
Well, you know what it is, Jamie. It's this, right? It's coming from PC Master Race. I've got it clued up, right? It's if you take it in PC terms like that, right? What you're effectively saying is, if I buy a game, let's say a couple of years back, and on the top of it, slapped on the top, it says, made for GeForce 1070.
Yes.
Right? And then a GeForce RTX 2070 comes around.
Yeah.
And then the advertiser for that. There's no difference.
Totally.
All it is just a scaling of assets, right?
But let me ask you.
It's LODs. That's practically all it is. LODs, load times, and your frame rates and your resolutions. But it's all baked into the game anyway.
But even ignoring the fact that a lot of internal hardware on consoles is usually custom and manufactured for that express purpose, what game runs as well as you'd want it to on an equivalent of an launch Xbox One and the equivalent of an Xbox Series X, based on the jumps we know that they're making? Like, I just can't see it.
But this is what I'm talking. It's just about the scalability of it.
Is it the scalability though only? Because, for example, like one of the things a lot of people talked about with Cyberpunk is the density of the crowd of the NPCs and things, and the city seems like it's kind of a living city, and then people are even. Maybe they turn off some of those people. So rather than
don't get me wrong, they'll probably
there's
thin
half
out the
the
crowds a
people.
bit potentially, but it's more stuff. I would say like your anti-aliasing, your ambient occlusions, the quality,
those
the
would be
quality of your shadows, because those are the
stuff,
things actually that are going to tank your VRAM. Just scale back on that. So what you're going to do is you still have a pretty game, but it's just going to be a bit jagged.
Then why does it take time? If the PC version is what it is, and it's all very well optimized and all looks so good, and in theory what they're doing to get it run on a base Xbox One and PS4 is scaling it back, why is it going to take them some period of time to make the PS5 and Xbox Series X version?
That's
a good question.
That I don't know. I think probably the answer is exactly what you said, and it was just optimization.
Yeah. It's fascinating
to
either way.
get it as optimized as possible, rather than say, here's a blanket thing of we've just ticked all those boxes. And it's more a case of saying, well, let's tick the boxes, but let's fucking tweak it to this particular hardware that we've got.
Do you know what? I think I actually was watching a really interesting talk where a guy was taking apart the PlayStation 5 roadmap, and he was talking. He's a game developer, or ex-game dev, and he was talking about what everything meant that the PlayStation was saying in the development of the PS5, and he was sort of talking about why it takes time to go from one version to another. And he said one of the problems is because it's not just like you've upgraded the system; you've actually changed the infrastructure, the architecture. Developers need to know how those games work and what the system's doing. So one of the problems you might find is, sure, they're patching a PlayStation 4 game, but obviously one of the ways you can have backwards compatibility is you effectively emulate the old system on the current system. Yeah. So if they're making a patch which takes a game but says don't use the PlayStation 4 emulation, use the PlayStation 5, but now they have to patch in the PlayStation 5 architecture into how that game runs on the PlayStation 5. It could be as simple, Jamie, as we've scaled stuff around, but it could be that the infrastructure and the way that the files are structured and the way that the game interprets stuff, that could all be different. I think he said that the time, what did he even call it? Maybe this is a completely separate thing, but the time to triangle, like it's how long it takes you to do one thing on a system. They've tried to get it down to like 6 months or something for the PlayStation 5, as opposed to 3 years or something with the PlayStation 4. Or the PlayStation 3, maybe. I can't remember. Yeah. But so I wonder if it's that. I wonder if that is the thing that's holding everything up, because it's not just scale back the PC version and export a new version. It's
that's what I love to think of it as. It's like
that's me too.
It's like us changing the sequence settings and exporting.
In my head, that's what it is. But
it's probably because like maybe less so with the new gen, but more so with the older gen, where there were quite very obvious bottlenecks, especially when compared to PCs of the time. So we all remember that Spider-Man demo where it's like, oh, he can only go so fast because we can't load in the buildings fast enough.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. It's probably more a case of the limitations of the previous stuff than the limitations of the newer stuff. It's probably saying like, hey, when we made this game, we made it because of this bottleneck, and now that bottleneck doesn't exist. So we have to now try and figure out a way to get rid of the way that we worked out that thing to make the bottleneck work.
You've just come up with a fascinating example, Chris.
Yeah.
Which is that let's say Spider-Man Miles Morales was a game that was it's a PS5 exclusive. But let's say for the sake of argument, Spider-Man Miles Morales was a PS4 game that was going to get a PS5 patch.
Yeah.
You can't increase the swing speed in the PS5 patch. So by definition, that's a fundamental of the gameplay mechanics that still has to be defined by the worst piece of hardware the game runs on, no?
You could change the swing speed in the PS5 patch, but you'd
be changing the
fundamentally different games.
You'd be changing the game. If Miles Morales could swing twice as fast on PS5, it would take half as long to beat. Can you get around the same?
Yeah. Oh, I see. Right.
So, like, is that
maybe that's why the game
is
half
that
as long?
Now, obviously, that's not a reason. That's not a thing with Spider-Man Miles Morales. But is that an example of a gameplay mechanic? I understand what you're saying about scalability of graphics and things like that, but a gameplay mechanic that has to still be catered to the lowest common denominator.
Yeah, I mean, think about, let's say, if they remaster the latest God of War for PS5, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, there's no need for Kratos to duck under rocks.
Exactly.
But that's how the game is built. That's the maps are built around that. So the computational bottleneck that they had was dictated, hey, in order to load all of this luscious fucking thing in the next area, Kratos has got to climb under this rock so that we can load all that shit and get rid of all the shit that he's just leaving behind. Yeah. But that doesn't exist anymore, but it exists as a core function within the game. The same with Final Fantasy VII Remake, where Cloud is stopped from running around in certain areas, or he's got to squeeze through little gaps. Like, technically, that stuff's not going to...
And I guess that's where it gets interesting for me. It's like, we have the version that most of us will be playing, a version of Cyberpunk that most of us will be playing on the PS5 will be a patched PS4 game. If you said to Cyberpunk, could you make fundamental changes to the game if you just took 6 months and made a PS5 version of the game that was a standalone thing that would adhere to the rules of the PS4 version? Would it be better or different in some regards?
I think in terms of Cyberpunk...
I'd want that.
I think in terms of Cyberpunk was safe, right? Because I seem to recall, God, if I remember where, but I seem to recall the CD Projekt Red dude saying that Cyberpunk was a PC-first game.
Yeah.
And if you're making something as a PC-first game, then you're not working with those bottlenecks in the design of the game. You're designing the game, and then you're working with the bottlenecks. So in other words, you're not designing elements of the game to fit into those bottleneck restrictions, right?
Hopefully, yes.
But then there's a question of like, what are they doing to kind of do that?
Yeah.
Because I think we could see quite clearly how that can fall apart if you look at a game like Skyrim on, was it the PS3?
Yes, the PS3.
Absolute trash that ran.
That was a nightmare. So
I don't know. I would wager that the best way to play CD Projekt Red, and not for any kind of bias, Cyberpunk, not for any kind of bias, would be PC. For that reason.
See, I think it's because it's a different type of game, though. Like, I can see that they could... Like, so you're saying if they make it for PlayStation, or if it works on PlayStation 4, how can they have a game... How can you just patch that to be the same as a standalone PlayStation 5? But of this day and age, a patched PlayStation 4 game, there is no difference between that and a PlayStation 5 specific game, because the patch could change fundamentals across the board for the whole game. Like, these days, it doesn't mean anything, right? You could effectively dump 99.9% of the data from the disc in the bin in the patched version, what we know, we've seen 100 gig patches.
Agreed.
120 gig, 200. You could have a stupid size patch, which effectively says, here's a completely new game. Unless it just happens to work.
Dude, Warzone, every time Warzone changes a fucking tree, it's a 30 gig patch.
It's a patch.
We're in 100% agreement until it comes to fundamentals that the game had to be designed around.
Yeah.
And then you go back to Spider-Man where you say, the size of the city and the placement of mission objectives might have been things determined by the speed of the swinging. So you can't increase the speed of the swinging on the next generation of consoles because the fundamentals of the game around it cannot be changed.
No, I
think that's where what Chris said. I think that's where Chris's point.
Like CD Projekt Red can come out and say, hey, in real world terms, the max speed of that DeLorean-like car is actually only 30 miles an hour because that's the rate at which we could load in the city on the hard drives of the PS4 and the Xbox One. We can't. On the PS5 and Xbox Series X, we could make that thing go 70 miles an hour in real world terms because that's how much faster we can load in the city with an SSD. But fundamentally, we can't have cars go twice as fast in one version as they do in another because the game wasn't designed for that.
Yeah, but there's a difference though, right? Because what you can do is you can have the game going, the car going the same speed, but what happens is you when you're in the car, the faster you get, your LOD of the textures gets a lot lower, right? In order to make up for that difference.
On the old gen versions.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could.
Because
what
if
what if they don't? I'm creating a hypothetical scenario where they didn't do that.
No,
where
I
they did
think
cap it on the old gen.
I think it makes perfect sense, but I think there's two split aspects of it. Is it developed for PC first or is it developed for console first? And then that is where your answer lies. If it's developed for PC first, it doesn't matter because the gameplay is dictated by, call it zero bottleneck. Whereas if you're on a console, you have a very specific hardware constraint. Because remember, PCs come in all shapes and sizes, right? Much like penises, boobs, and vaginas.
Indeed.
Right? And then, your PlayStations and your Xboxes, those are like dildos. They come in a mold. They get injected into a mold and then that's it.
Right.
So if it's made for console, then there's always going to be concessions. I had to get it a little bit less serious.
It's a great analogy. Yeah. It's a great analogy.
I had to get a little bit less serious. But it depends on what they're building it for. Yeah. If they're building it for PC first, then it's a lot easier. If they're building it for console first, then it becomes a lot trickier. And probably what you'll find is, what if they said, you know what, let's take the Spider-Man PS4 engine and let's remaster it for PS5. And then they realized exactly what you're saying, that, they can't have that because it fundamentally changes it. So what is their solution? Well, let's just make a new story using that same modified engine that now runs on the PS5. And if it's Miles Morales, then, hey, guess what? Maybe he can swing faster than Peter Parker.
You've literally just nailed the exact reason they're making Miles Morales. That is the whole reason they're making that standalone little thing, was because they can't patch Spider-Man. They need something which is PlayStation 5 specific in order to take advantage and show off what they can do. You've absolutely nailed why that exists.
I think it all just stems from the fact that I watch Cyberpunk footage and I want that to be a true next-gen experience, like a mind-blowing thing. And the fact that there's a chance, I haven't made up my mind yet, but the fact there's a chance that the way I play Cyberpunk is an unpatched version of the game designed to run on consoles that are now 7 years old kind of makes my head hurt.
Yeah.
So I might just get it on PC, basically.
Get it on PC. You can play with the controller on PC.
This might be like the first major game where I just go, I'm not playing it on a fucking PS4.
Do it. That is so cool.
But
so cool.
if I watch that Digital Foundry video, it's like, the PS4 version is, it's a 7-year-old hardware.
But see, but then you get to the interesting point, because this is one thing that the PC master race always sort of decide, don't want to talk about, is, as Chris said, PCs come in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
I've said all way long that I'm going to get it on console, and a lot of people have said to me, "You're a moron. Why?" It's like, well, because I'm not going to go out and buy a 2080 Ti, because I'm going to already have bought a PlayStation 5, and I've got a 1070, so I'm not going to go out spend another $2,000 on a graphics card when the game costs 50 quid, when what I could do if I really wanted to is play it on PlayStation 5 for a bit, and if I wanted to buy it on PC, I could also buy it on PC, and I'm still £1,900 up. So
sometimes in these conversations I forget that some of us already have 2080 Ti's and
some of us really don't
need to worry about this.
Hey, me and my 1060 are going strong, all right? But what I might have to do for Cyberpunk is buy one of those external GPU enclosures.
Oh,
and then,
right, yeah.
just buy a fucking graphics card.
So this is one question I always have, is because you can say like PC is much better, blah blah blah. But the question I would have is, if you run that game day one on a 1070 like I've got, and on a PlayStation 5, I would love to see those side by side comparisons.
Well, maybe
of how
that's
the
a
game
video we
runs.
should make, Alex Jones. Just buy it twice.
I'd be
and
willing
check
to.
it out.
That I'd be into that, yeah, for sure.
Well,
Because
I
you
wonder
never
if-
get that.
Yeah,
you always
but you
get the PC version. Like, yeah, okay, mate, I haven't got $5,000 to spend updating my PC.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Anyway, all right. Let's look. Enough of this.
Let's move on to the news that we actually were going to talk about.
All right, let's get on to the news. So, the biggest news in the past week, obviously, starting from last week Friday, which is fresh, right? Is Dr. Disrespect being banned from Twitch? Permaban, in fact. This is some pretty big news because no one knows why he's been banned. A lot of theories floating around there. And I thought we all thought maybe it would be fun to kind of go through all the theories and play a bit of Mythbusters and see what's the viable answer here. Because basically what's happened is Dr. Disrespect has been banned. No one knows why. He's been permabanned. For someone of his size to be permabanned from Twitch, it's got to be something pretty fucking big.
As of recording, he says he doesn't know why he's banned as well.
Yes,
I
and I believe Twitch's only response was that Dr. Disrespect was permabanned because of a breach of terms of service. So not telling us anything really. Jonesy, you went down the rabbit hole really hard on this one. Yeah, Jonesy went full Detective Pikachu. I used to be a little bit of a conspiracy theorist back in my day, so this wasn't really
my fault.
This surprises me so much.
Surprised to absolutely fucking no one.
Okay, so should we run through some of the main, like we said, we're going to do a bit Mythbusty. None of these theories I think are probably that likely, but maybe we should go through some of them and see, the wacky ones through to the maybe slightly more plausible.
I'd like to give them like a plausibility rating.
That's a great idea, right? So I'm going to hit you with a theory, and then let's go plausibility.
All right,
what's the scale or the ranking? Is it like a?
It's got to be out of what? Out of 10? Do you reckon out of 10?
Yeah, out of 10's fine.
10 being this is what happened.
Definitely true.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so one of the first theories, I'm going to sort of combine these theories together because I can't bother to go through all of them together, but it's kind of the conspiracy theory bent, okay? So in his final stream, in the last 8 minutes, a lot of people would have seen the last 8 minutes because the video was sort of floating around on Twitter. And basically, Dr. Disrespect started talking about David Icke, who, if people don't know, is a very well-known British conspiracy theorist who goes on about some really wacky stuff.
Yeah, he's the dude that thinks the Queen is a lizard, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that we're all vibrations and blah, blah, blah. He said he was Jesus on TV one time. Wow. This is a wacky dude, okay? But he starts talking about David Icke and talking about his book, and also a documentary that was out there on Netflix at the time, which I think subsequently been taken down. So the theory around conspiracies in general, Dr. Disrespect has also tweeted that he has information that could put Hillary Clinton in jail. I believe that was on the 26th of June. He tweeted that.
Sure.
And so, like I said, I'm putting all these under the title, the conspiracy theory.
Okay.
He's also an anti-5G proponent. Like he says 5G might be doing dodgy things to us. I believe he even said COVID-19 has been is kind of a bit fake or has been talked about too much. So anyway, so loads of these things are kind of wacky. He plays a character as well. Dr. Disrespect, right, is a character. Yes. Guy Beam is the real dude. So we don't know how many of these tweets.
So this is what I was going to say. Like especially the Hillary Clinton tweet, that just sounds like a Dr. Disrespect character tweet.
It's part of the character. It sounds like that. And even the David Icke stuff on his last show. So this is the conspiracy theory. So the idea, guys, is that he was taken off Twitch because he keeps pushing conspiracy theories. He keeps talking about people like David Icke, and that's why they had to kill him, to silence him, because he knew too much. So what do you think?
Wow. Bullshit, I'd say, as a reason. So look, on that, so loads of people who are interested in this kind of thing probably would have watched that last 8 minutes of Dr. Disrespect's last stream where he started talking about David Icke. He starts talking about David Icke, and then apparently he gets a thing on his phone and he looks at it and his whole demeanor changes.
Well, the phone thing comes first. And I'll just say that because the phone thing happens before he talks about David Icke, which kind of blows this theory out of the water a little bit. But anyway, sorry, go on. I just wanted to get
the idea basically being that like he talks about David Icke in that stream. Are you telling me that Twitch has people watching Dr. Disrespect to see if he does anything wrong or talks about, like, no. If they're watching him because they're a fan of his, they're not watching him to police him. At least I would not imagine so, right? And
also, he can talk about Hillary Clinton, 5G being dodgy, COVID, and that's all fine. But a second he mentions David Icke, he's gone.
Like, come on, dude. Like, there's no way in how that's going to be. And again, not a permaban. Okay, so I'll tell you what, I'm gonna plug it into my plausibility meter here. Let's just hold on. Beep boop 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 boop. Bullshit. All right.
So what are we saying out of 10?
Yeah,
what are you saying?
I would say it's a 0. This one.
Oh, Jamie, what do you reckon?
This is a 2 from me. I really agree that it's not particularly plausible.
I'm going to go ever so slightly higher and say, if you take all of that together and you say, do you know what? Given the fake news stuff out there, given COVID, given all of that, you put that all together and you say people pushing fake news, are now seen as dangerous, and that's why he was banned. I give it a 4, maybe. Let's go 4, but very unlikely, I think.
Okay, fair enough.
We'll rattle through this one quickly, but the second theory was that we all know he cheated on his wife a couple of years ago at TwitchCon. Got found out. He released a statement as himself, out of character, and basically apologised for it. One of the theories was that Twitch kind of revisited that and said, actually, we should have banned him at the time, and they've now decided to ban him. Because
Zero on that one.
I agree. I think 0 for that. This is okay. This is a mad one, so stick with me. This idea, the next
it's like
one,
a roller coaster here with the Detective Pikachu.
This is a roller coaster. So this is that a big time female streamer wanted to sleep with the doc at a TwitchCon. Doc says no. The streamer
keeps he's learned his
away.
lesson, Alex. You see, he did it once before. He's not going to do it again.
Exactly. So they thought he would, right? So they keep plugging away. He keeps saying no. The streamer then decides, rather than go the doc angle, because let me get this straight. The only reason she was going to sleep with him was because she wanted to Me Too him and get a load of clout and a load of money and a load of notoriety. So anyway, so she doesn't get to sleep with the doc. She then sleeps her way up through Twitch, gets to some really high-ranking dude, and then basically gets that person to do whatever her bidding, whatever she wants. And one of the things she wants them to do, because the doc wouldn't get with her and wouldn't go for it, is get rid of the doc. So what are we saying for this one?
Go on, Jamie.
I think that if you were to introduce the idea of a broader Me Too concept as a theory, I might be more open to it. But this specific thing, it's like a 1. Like, it's just too. It's just, for me, it's just too broad and too vague. Of like, I don't know. It just sounds like, how's anyone going to get any information on that? Like, I don't know. Like,
also, why would the streamer do it? Why would you work your way up through Twitch to get rid of just the doc, unless you were so annoyed that he didn't?
Like,
sleep with
there
you?
are very few people that actively benefit, and me and Josie were having a discussion about this the other day. Very few people that actively benefit from Dr. Disrespect being deplatformed, and ultimately, probably in the long run, just moving to another significant streaming platform where he'll make a shitload of money with no repercussions or public acknowledgement of what actually happened. Who is that a victory for?
Yeah.
It's not a victory for a victim. It's not a victory for the Twitch. It's not like, if no one ever finds out what Dr. Disrespect does, then no one's won. So most of these stories about people trying to make a point or make a stand or trying to get them, like, no one's won. So it's very hard to look at things that way and saying like someone tried to, I don't know. Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. So you've given it a 0, Jonesy.
I think I said 1. I think I said 1.
Okay, 1.
I'll go 2. I'll say a 2. It's very, very unlikely. I'll say 2.
Okay. I'm going to go, this may shock you boys. I'm going to go for a 5.
Oh, the most likely so far.
Christ.
Wow, okay.
All right, because here's my thinking on it.
Okay.
All of the stories that I've heard coming out of Me Too so far are so fucked up beyond anything that I could rationalize myself, that this seems irrationally able to fit into something like this.
So
this theory is that he didn't get Me Too'd, but because he didn't get with the person, they forced him out. Like that to me is the weird angle.
Yeah, look, I'm not giving my 5 to the very specific of this, but I am giving my 5 to the fact of there may be some Me Too element. Or I guess that's what Jamie said. Is if it was a broader thing, he'd probably give it a higher thing.
Well, but that's where we're going to go next.
Yeah, hold on. But in terms of that, I'm giving it a 5 because I wouldn't be surprised if there was someone who wanted to do this, or if there was someone who was part of the Me Too, that maybe something did happen, and then or was a streamer sleeping with some Twitch mods. I don't know. All of this has a hint of plausibility for me. So I'm giving it that bang in the middle. Yeah, it could be. It couldn't be. On this very specific one, yeah, probably not. But as a broader concept, it's a 50-50 for me.
Okay, so then the next one is the broader Me Too. So the next theory basically is that another streamer went to Twitch and said this happened at an event or whatever. It's linked to Twitch. You know, it happened between Doc and this unknown other streamer. But they don't want to come forward. They don't want to go public. They don't want to put it on Twitter. But they've gone direct to Twitch. Twitch have seen the receipts. They believe it. They think it's absolutely true. And as we've seen in the past with Twitch, they're not going to announce the reason for the ban. So they just said, and to protect the identity of the streamer that didn't want to release their identity. So it's effectively a Me Too banning without the actual hashtag tied to it. So it's more of like a Doc did this, it's messed up, but I don't want to go public. And then Twitch have backed her up and said, okay, he's gone.
Again, for me, it's a 5 because it's in the same silo, as it were, for me.
Jamie?
I still have the same confusion around it, which is that the Me Too movement for me is about sharing your voice, it's about culpability, and ultimately it's about like sharing your story so other people can take some kind of strength or confidence from your story and echo any stories that they've had in their life, or share any stories of abuse or anything like that. I don't see why someone who is the victim of something that would be a potential Me Too thing does it through this weird stealthy way. Like, what person is the victim of sexual abuse or rape or harassment or whatever it was and says, rather than sharing my story and empowering other women to come forward, I'm just going to get this guy fired and no one's ever going to know why? It's not a victory for the victim. I can
believe that. Yeah, but it doesn't always have to be a victory like the way that Me Too has been has labeled victories.
But if what person is sat there saying, oh, do you know what? Doc's gone from Twitch and has gone to YouTube gaming for tens of millions of dollars and I'm so much happier. Like, who said, like, they don't benefit from it.
Well, the benefit is just getting them off the platform that maybe they're on.
It's like, but it's pulling a Catholic Church move. It's like, just get them, like, saying moving a pedo priest from one church to another is going to, you're not doing anything.
Yeah, but that shit happens regardless, right?
I think if this is someone doing a weird stealth Me Too thing and the only repercussion they wanted was for Doc to be removed from Twitch with no explanation, then it's a weak-ass Me Too.
But it's not. But I suppose it's not a Me Too in that sense. It's not a Me Too. It's someone who decided that the only repercussion for an act of abuse or whatever it was is a dude not losing their job, but just transitioning their job from one place to another, possibly for more money. Like, who thinks that way? I get where you're coming from, Chris. Like, maybe it's someone on Twitch who doesn't want Doc there as well, but like, I just don't see it. I don't see it. I completely disagree with you. I think with this one is the most plausible. I'd give it still not that plausible because, like Jamie said, I think I would expect someone to. It seems like a very high profile move to make without anything high profile happening. It's very likely it would come out, I suppose. Yeah. So I'm going to give it like maybe a 6. But the idea that somebody who was a Twitch streamer wanted to tell Twitch something had happened but didn't want to go public, I can completely see that. I can completely see it tied. I can completely see as well, like it happens that they do it because they don't want to go to a Twitch event and see him there. They don't want to they don't want to go to a thing and see him there. So they say their bit. Maybe they had no idea what the outcome would be. They didn't even know he'd get banned.
This is where I'm not trying to like fucking cause a stir, but this is where I get uncomfortable with the whole thing. This is where all that happens is a guy who streams on Twitch gets banned on a streaming platform for breaching terms of service, and that's the only thing we know. And now we're sitting here saying, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's more likely that he raped someone than it's not likely.
No.
What the fuck are we saying? Based on rumours started by the people that are starting these rumours. You called it a 6 out of 10, dude. You're saying it's more likely than not.
You said that he raped someone, but we know that Me Too's can go all the way from...
Okay, he abused someone. He emotionally abused someone. He did something worthy of being Me Too'd. We're sitting here taking rumours from the people that start in the rumours and saying, that seems more likely than unlikely in my professional opinion. It seems more likely than the... I know you spent the last week with your fucking magnifying glass out, Jonesy, but that's honestly where I start to feel super uncomfortable about this whole fucking thing. Dude breaks terms of service, that's the only thing we know, and now we're taking Keemstar rumours and saying, yeah, that's probably happening.
I didn't say it's probably happening. I said
it's 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 on a scale where we established 10 minutes ago that 10 out of 10 means it happened.
It's happening, yeah.
So it's more likely than unlikely. That's crazy.
Out of the reasons we've got.
That's crazy.
I think more likely than.
All right. Well,
I think it's more likely than the other ones we've had.
That's crazy.
I get what Jamie's saying.
Honestly, that's where I tag out. Like,
I get what Jamie's saying. And for that reason,
Me Too is real. Those victims are real. And now we're sitting here for people's entertainment, speculating over whether a dude who quote unquote broke terms of service should it's crazy to me. After what
I don't think it is. I think we have to be realistic about why something like this.
But we're not being realistic. We're taking rumours. Who created these rumours, Jonesy?
Fair enough.
4chan, Keemstar, and the Quartering. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Or random Twitter and Reddit posts. Name one established journalistic outlet.
Most of them are all from 4chan.
So what are
like
we doing?
Purely from 4chan.
I don't know.
The Me Too one though that's not created by anyone. That was effectively like a Twitter
even
mob.
Worse. Even
Twitter
worse.
mob. Because people assume it's a Me Too. That's exactly what happens.
6 out of 10 sounds pretty. Likely
I would say
to
6
me.
out of 10.
I think
if you
I think that the issue was let's say the unfortunate timing of this permaban being kind of slap bang in the middle of the Me Too movement. All right, you got to take that into account. You got to take into account that the fact of the matter that the dude was unfaithful to his wife. Granted, he may have completely reformed. I still think it's a possibility, but I agree with what you're saying though, Jamie. That maybe
no one asked me my score either, because I think this is an 8.
But hold on, because there are a couple of wrinkles that actually make this very unlikely situation, which is that which I didn't give you at the beginning because I thought it'd be interesting to find out what you thought without them. Doc was removed from 2 ad campaigns that he was currently doing with Game Fuel, and the other one was I can't remember who it was. Another company that he was on advertising doing stuff for. He was removed from both of those ad campaigns. He was reinstated in a very short time after, and in my mind, that suggests that they've taken him off as a reactionary thing, thinking Me Too. They've then had conversations with him or with whoever else, his representation, whatever, and they are happy putting him back on.
Yeah, like clear the air kind of thing.
Exactly, and they've said we're really worried about this, and it's effectively they've been reassured that it's not a Me Too or it's not anything like that, or so they've sort of turned around and gone, oh, okay, this is something a lot more complicated. So with that in mind, where would you change your scores? Because that changes my 6 down to probably about a 4 for that.
Oh, why didn't you just say that 5 minutes ago?
Because it was more interesting to hold back the information.
You wanted to see you just go on a fucking tantrum, Jamie.
No, because it wouldn't have been as
what's happening now is we're saying have a podcast without you going on a tantrum.
I only got triggered because Jonesy... whatever.
Why do you think I held that back until I just dropped that bit of info? So, God, does that change what you think it's?
I'm sticking to 5.
I think I'm like a 1. I don't know.
Okay. See, for me, like that, to me, companies are very, very scared of things like Me Too and all this sort of stuff. So to me, that is a massive push in the direction.
Well, hold on. Don't you think that is more indicative that maybe it was a Me Too situation? Not like a real Me Too situation, but more like a Me Too accusation, right? For
me, no, because they keep the adverts down until it's all sorted out, if that's the case.
But this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking an accusation may have come out. Okay, obviously, when I say I'm thinking, I'm not actually thinking, but I'm trying to rationalize this.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
A Me Too accusation comes out. He gets permabanned from Twitch. All of his sponsors kind of freak out. They drop him. All right. And then, like you say, his representation comes back and says, no. Here is the proof that this accusation is completely unfounded. And then they reinstate
I see.
it. So therefore,
right.
it seems that, maybe that is the likely reasoning.
Oh, okay. So in which case, that was the reason he got banned, but actually he's proved. Or his representation proved that wasn't. Yeah, no, that's a very fair point.
But again, hey, fucking speculation. We should have this big graphic on screen saying fucking speculation.
Oh, this is total. Yeah, this is 100%. Anyone out there, this is 100% speculation. This is not. None of these are likely.
Anyway,
effectively, all we know in terms of.
I think we're going to move on to the next segments, which I think are way more likely than anything else so far.
This is where I actually get interested in this story, and as opposed to everything else,
so
which just does my head in.
These are much more likely. These are much more likely out of these kind of ones that we've got. Yeah. So one of them, let's ban them all together and say that the other idea was that he, although he had an exclusivity contract with Twitch, that the doc met possibly with Ninja and Shroud, who've obviously just been released from their exclusivity with Mixer because that has fallen apart, and they've both said that they're not going to go to Facebook Gaming, is that those guys together or just Doc on his own have gone off to start on a new streaming service, I guess, where they're going to get much better deals. They're going to be able to maybe carve it in their own image. I've got no idea.
Or make their own service is one of the other rumors.
Or make their own service. The three main services that are in discussion, and the funniest one has got to be Brime, which is a code name at this time. Brime effectively seemed to be a new streaming service started by a couple of dudes who were just a bit annoyed with Twitch.
Yeah, I think it was literally, right? It was like 2 people.
I think it was 2 people, and they hadn't even got a website, but they just started saying Brime is coming. So people saw this, and it had about 500 followers on Twitter. Q, Keemstar, and a couple of other people sharing it. They're now up to 90,000 followers on Twitter because people think this is the service that Doc has gone to. A bit of sleuthing and now confirmation from them in that they have nothing to do with Doc. They've got effectively no big monetary backers. Yeah. They're not a part of a big company. They're just some guys who are trying to set up their own streaming service.
I guess the reason that people thought it was because this account, even though at the time it had 500 followers, it was only following 15 people. And the 15 people they were following were streamers. So it was like Dr. Disrespect, Shroud, and Ninja as an example. So people kind of, try
the dumbest reason to think it was true. It followed them. They didn't follow it.
Well, this is the thing that I keep on saying. Like, it's a streaming platform. Of course, a fucking streaming platform is going to be following the world's biggest streamers. Like, it's a no fucking brainer. I find it very funny. And then, so they were called Brime, and then clearly everyone was like, "What the fuck kind of a name is Brime?" And then they changed it. Oh no, it's a code name.
Code name Brime. So we know this isn't true, basically. But that was a fun one because like the how much they've increased in popularity since this all came out. Then I'll put together the last 2 as well because they sort of go together in some respects. There was an idea that Spotify and Google, this was a 4chan kind of like effectively.
This one's weird, dude, because it's like 50% makes total sense and 50% makes absolutely 0 sense.
Right, yeah, for sure. So the idea was that Google and Spotify were working together to start a new streaming service, kind of under Spotify, but not called Spotify. And they had the money and everything, and Doc and Ninja and Shroud were all going to go there and get amazingly big paydays and have a great old time. Jamie pointed out earlier in the week that why the hell would Google, who already have YouTube, sign up with Spotify in order to create a new streaming service? And I think the only reasoning and rationale behind that I could find in all this argument was that it was because Spotify have got the music side of their business and they don't have a streaming service, and maybe Google were doing a weird thing where they were having like a side bet on the fact if they could launch a new service.
Yeah, but Google,
it's still weird. It's
YouTube is a streaming service.
But the idea, I guess, was that from what I could glean was that for whatever reason, where YouTube doesn't work, they wanted their own thing. Kind of if they controlled 2 parts of the market. It doesn't really make sense. It's a bit
it doesn't make sense. Look, the like I said earlier, the 50% part that doesn't make sense is the Google aspect of it. The 50% part that does make sense is Spotify trying to do their own streaming service, because Spotify bought out the rights for Joe Rogan Experience, which traditionally has been filmed, right? Like it's much like we do, I guess, where it's filmed on video and then there are, there's audio versions of it. So if he's got exclusivity with Spotify now, does that mean that they're just not going to film anything? Which completely changes the product in a way.
Good question.
But then if they do film it, where does that filming live Now, yes, on Spotify, they show music videos during songs and whatever in a really weird fucking aspect ratio and this, that, the other. But the question is, like, are they changing their product to accommodate the Joe Rogan experience, or was the Joe Rogan experience the first
step,
the first step into this? So I think the Spotify angle is entirely plausible.
Google makes it less plausible.
Google makes it 100% less plausible. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Go on, Jamie. What do you think? What do you reckon?
4.
A 4.
Chris?
Wow.
Yeah, 4.
Are we talking about the Spotify, the brand, or are we just talking about the
Spotify and the Spotify Google angle? Or you can take it to just Spotify if you want.
If I take it to just Spotify, I will say it's a 6. If I take it to a stream, like dumping his Twitch contract and going to a rival streaming site, I would say I'd pump that probably up to a 7, maybe even an 8. Because
hold that score, because we have probably the most interesting one is the last one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me say on that one, I'm going to come down with Spotify Google thing. I don't know why they'd be doing it together, but I'll go down the middle. I'll say about a 5.
All right. I will say if it's a Spotify and Google, it's a 0. But if it's just a Spotify thing, yeah, a 6.
Okay. So the last one, which was an interesting one, is Trovo.live, which is a streaming service which already exists, which is not really owned, but it's operated by, it's tied to, in a big way, Tencent. Obviously, Tencent are an epic company with fuck you money, so they can do whatever they want. But they've found it quite difficult to move into the streaming market into the West. But they've recently made some money moves in that area specifically. So the idea is effectively similar to the last two that we've talked about, but that Doc is one of the people who's been sort of lined up to move over to Trovo.live. What's interesting about this one as well is, and again, this doesn't necessarily mean anything, but if you go to Trovo.live, Dr. Disrespect has a profile. It obviously could have been started by anybody. So does, I think Shroud has one. Or Shroud or Ninja, I can't remember which has. Right. They have one as well that have been around for a little while. They haven't got any content on there. Again, this could have easily been somebody who just logged in and created those profiles.
They could have created them themselves just as a placeholder, saying like, "This is my brand. I'm going to, if I ever want to go into these platforms, boom, no one can take it." Right.
One of the things that makes this quite interesting is one guy that I do follow on YouTube is The Quartering, and he streams, and he was offered money by from what he says, he was offered money by Trovo Live to do exclusive streaming for them. I didn't say how much, but he said he also knows of other streamers who've been offered contracts to go and do streaming there specifically, or maybe not money, but they've been offered preferential deals, rates, whatever. And he turned it down specifically because it was tied. I think he said it was tied to Tencent, and it kind of didn't really want to get involved with that, so didn't go for it. But if they're making moves in that way, it kind of, to me, makes it a lot more likely. So for me on this one, I'm going to say this is like a 7.
Ooh.
Okay. Saucy.
Jamie?
Or can I sit on the fence and just say 5?
Sure, if you want, but you got to qualify it.
Yeah, when we get into the whole kind of competitive streaming platforms and changing platforms, or having an agreement with another platform that's what broke the terms of service and things like that, it starts to become a little bit easier to believe for me. Yeah. Both from like a sort of a moral area and also just like it's more plausible. But at the same time, I don't think it's likely, which is why I kind of don't want to go above a 5. I don't want to put myself out there and say I think it's likely, because I know we haven't got to the end of the segment, but my conclusion about the whole thing is that I think Doc will stream somewhere else again, and probably soon. I don't think we'll ever find out what happened.
That's what I was going to bring up at the end of the segment. Is
so I didn't mean to jump the gun on that.
The most plausible thing is that we just never know.
Yeah, and that's why I can't realistically go above a 5 on this.
Yeah,
it's possible, but I just think that by the end of summer, Doc's going to be streaming on YouTube Gaming, and he's never going to talk about Twitch again.
I think you're right. That's the most likely, because he doesn't have to. If it is for whatever reason it is, in a way, it's not going to help him. Ever coming out of a reason is not going to help him. No. Because there's always going to be something he's done. He's violated the terms of service, whether or not it's something really silly, and that Twitch got rid of him for, or something really serious.
The mystery behind it is doing nothing but good things for him, I would imagine. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
Like even the
assuming people
negative
don't-
side of the mysteries, because it's still people saying like, oh, but how can you say that? Nothing's been confirmed. Like it only ever works in his favor. As soon as something more concrete comes out, then the fucking illusion is gone.
The only way I pull away from that a little bit is, like you said, Chris, with the timing, and with all the Me Too stuff that's going on in gaming specifically at the moment.
Yeah.
Part of me wonders if, even if it's to say it's not that, you might find out that like maybe he'll go that far just to say like, I can't tell you why, but it's not that.
I just don't think it benefits him to say anything.
Maybe, yeah, maybe not.
Yeah. I do want to say one thing though, whether it's a Spotify thing or a Trovo Live thing, we're talking about big amounts of money being moved here and there for a lot of these streamers and exclusive contracts, right? Obviously, there were rumors of how big Ninja and Shroud's kind of contracts were, etc., etc. I could fully expect to see one of these places, especially let's say a company like Trovo that's got 10-cent money behind it, saying, we'll give you this big payday, bigger than what Twitch paid you, and we will sort out whatever settlement you need to have with Twitch because of the breach in contract. I can entirely see that happening because that happens in big business all of the time.
Yeah.
Right? Not necessarily media and entertainment business, but even sometimes in media and entertainment business. But I think the most likely end situation of this is, so this is my 10 out of 10 plausibility, right? For me personally. Oh, let's say 9 out of 10 because we don't want to be too definitive. But 9 out of 10, we will never know what the reason of the permaban was, and he will be on YouTube Live. You
reckon YouTube Live?
That's where I'm putting my money. Yeah. You got to remember that. You got to remember that YouTube is the biggest video platform on. Okay, well, I don't know about any Chinese centric platforms. I'm not talking about Trovo Live, which is trying to come into the Western market, but YouTube is YouTube is the second biggest search engine to begin with, and YouTube is the biggest video platform on the internet. So of course he's going to go there. If you're not going on Twitch, which is the biggest streaming platform, if you're not on the biggest streaming platform, you go onto the biggest video platform. That's just how it goes.
You sure it's not Facebook?
It's definitely not Facebook.
But yeah, so like we said, most of these are wacky, crazy theories, and there is no evidence for anything at this point. Let me just point that out. There is zero evidence to back up any of these. We're purely talking about this is 100% speculation. As of now, Doc has said he doesn't know why it is. We've only heard it's terms of service violations. So yeah, we have no idea. But what I can tell you is 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10 for definite. It will all come out at 5 p.m. today, because that is what always happens on a Thursday when we record the podcast. Is that the news comes out just after we finish recording.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, that is the most plausible thing we've spoken about.
I'm going above a 5 for that. That gets a 7 from me.
All right. Let's move on from that lovely speculation of myth busting everything about Dr. Disrespect and his permaban. Oh my God, what a douchebag. Okay. I do want to say, though, that I do actually quite like Dr. Disrespect. I know he's got a lot of issues and problems, but I can respect someone who's created a character and taken it that far in the age of streaming. So, fair play.
I agree with you, Chris, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
And I also think, saying this to Jonesy the other night, don't think he's as problematic as people make him out to be. His track record is kind of fine in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah,
it's when you look at the worst stuff he's done, and then you look at his reaction to it. I think that's the real thing that often you should look at, is because it's very easy to look at the character and to say what a scumbag. But then, for example, the toilet incident, and like you said, Jamie, I think before about the cheating thing. The second these things happened, he came out and did actually very good apologies and said, "This is what happened. This is what happened. I'm really sorry that it happened. Didn't mean to do X, Y, and Z."
Dude, well, this is the thing. I don't understand what happened somewhere along the way where all of a sudden people expect people on the internet to be these paragons of virtue.
But I think it's different again with the cat. Like, you're right, but then at the same time, when you make a character,
everyone is flawed. Every single human being is flawed in one way or another. Most of us, some of us more flawed than others. Fine, but who would have thought that a person that spends his time streaming on the internet is going to be a paragon of virtue and ethics? Like, No, of course not. But it's like you said, it's how, when you look at the bigger picture of what have they done, how have they reacted to it, that paints the truer picture of what a person is. And yeah, I think he's fine.
Unless we find out something horrendous in an hour's time, then please remember we recorded this.
Exactly. What's going to happen is on Thursdays, and it'll be like, oh, he's done something absolutely
he killed 100 people.
And then the next day, people watch our podcast, and there's us saying,
it'll be the second paragraph, like the first paragraph. Dr. Disrespect has been jailed for the murder of 17 people, and then second paragraph, a quote from Chris of the Super Show. Why do people expect us all to be the paragons of virtue?
Fuck, that's going to come back me in the arse. So, well done. Well done, Chris. Okay, look, let's just move on, okay, before we dig ourselves deeper into that hole. The Xbox Series X July extravaganza, fellas. So, obviously, we've had the big PS5 reveal. Jamie's very excited. He's yawning already.
You know it. I put so much energy into that last segment.
Came out in June. And the Xbox event was always slated for July, but now we have a little bit more information for you. So July 21st to the 27th, an entire week of showcases, with the big kind of tentpole being July 23rd, rumored to be the first party showcase, showing off the Xbox Series X, hopefully the console itself, first party games, what they look like, hoping for some gameplay rather than just the generic trailers that we kind of been seeing, the cinematic trailers. There are rumored to be 60 game announcements in total. There's going to be demos for a lot of these games, and not just demos in terms of like how we've come to know them in the modern day, where a game releases and then there's a demo which is like, oh, this is the first level of this game. These are what are referred to as show floor demos. It's what you would actually find at your E3s or your Gamescoms, where it's maybe taken from an alpha or a beta build of these games. So they are, a little bit rough around the edges, but they're there really to showcase what the game is about rather than the full polish on it. And I think that's great. I think a lot more of that shit needs to happen. Although, fellas, they did do this on the Steam Summer Festival, whatever it was, where they had a bunch of demos out. I think they had like over 200 demos available. But they were timed demos, and they were like on your computer for like 2 or 3 days and then gone.
Yeah, that kind of ties back into the show floor thing, right?
Keep them around. Keep them around for longer.
It kind of ties back into the show floor thing, right? Like if they're trying to recreate the E3 experience, where like, no, you're playing something finite. Like this is where the game's at the moment. Then we're taking that demo away because that's not where the game is at anymore. Like in the olden days,
I like it a little bit more time, because if they really want to emulate the E3 experience, what'll happen is you click launch on the demo, and then you have to wait 5 hours in a sweaty queue.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's the part that they missed out, is that they need to get the queue involved.
Or even ones that don't have the queue, it's like every time you launch the demo, someone just walks into whatever room you're in and stands over your shoulder watching you play for the entire time.
Yeah, breathing down your neck.
Then really awkwardly, awkwardly asks you what you thought, and you're like, yeah, it's great.
It's great. It's brilliant. Best game I've ever played.
But yeah, I think it's cool that demos are coming back in kind of a big way. I think it just benefits everyone, really, hopefully. But anyway, part of the first party showcase, what's been rumored, now this is where it gets a little bit interesting, is Fable 4 and Perfect Dark. So they've been rumored to be shown at this July 23rd event, but also they have had Twitter accounts registered in their names. Right? So kind of fueling the speculation. For what it's worth, Microsoft has come out saying it's not indicative of anything, and that it's just a standard kind of procedure to, lock up any potential social media accounts for any potential games that they may be working on in the future,
But the fact that it's Fable and Perfect Dark, like both series that have been away for a little while, and both renewed their Twitter names or whatever it was in the same month, which is the same month that they're allegedly going to be shown off. And like you look at the handles, it's like it's at Fable. Like you don't just like, oh, we're just hanging on to at Fable in case we wouldn't. I don't know, something might happen. Like you're making a fucking Fable game. Like just what are we talking about?
What promise going into the future? Like people just start snatching up any of the titles for games. Like as soon as there's a hint of like anything in the future possible, they'll just be like buying up every possible.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But I think the fact that these were, I don't even know what they were, because when you look at them, they say joined June 2020. I don't know what that means. And they're both completely clear.
Oh, right.
No tweeting history, no picture, no bio.
I think that just means that they were created then and there.
But like at Fable wasn't created last month. So like what
might have happened is someone else might have had at Fable and then it might have been dormant
They got
and
yeah, but that's where it goes back to like that timing thing of like, yeah, I know you look after your IPs and you make sure you have those things ready, but you don't do it in June before the Xbox Series X showcase. Like
it is.
Or maybe you do. The problem they've got nowadays is that, of course, if they go into Twitter and they get at Fable, people are going to start kicking off like months before, like it's coming out. So they have to wait long enough so that they can put it live and then give people a month or so to get all excited about it.
Just hold on a second, guys. I'm just going to register at Fable 5. Just going to play the long game. But yeah, it's interesting to say the least. I guess less so from the Fable perspective, because I guess we always knew that a Fable game was kind of in the works. But the Perfect Dark one for sure is interesting.
Yes.
Okay, and obviously we're gonna be seeing your Halos, probably whatever's next from Gears, I imagine.
That's what I was actually going to ask. Is I came up with like kind of a rough list of like things we could and couldn't expect to see. I was wondering if should I like rattle through that?
Hell yeah.
So things that are like I consider almost definite because they've been announced, or just super obvious. So Halo Infinite, like you said, Chris.
Yeah.
Which is also going to come out.
Gameplay though. It's
Halo
got to be.
Gameplay. It's got to be right. Hellblade: Senua's Saga.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's coming out. Psychonauts 2, which is now a first-party Microsoft title. First title. Microsoft Flight Simulator. We know that's going to come out at some point.
Yeah.
Next-gen Forza will almost certainly come with the Xbox Series X. Wasteland 3 is still due to be published by Microsoft. It hasn't come out yet. We believe that...
Although Wasteland 3 was shown off at their third-party...
Yes.
Showcase.
Yeah, like that last thing.
And actually so was... Psychonauts 2.
There you go. I guess that's the weird middle ground for them. I don't know.
They're like second.
Well, they bought Double Fine, so that's technically speaking first party, but maybe they're creating some weird separation. I don't know.
Is that where you find out that you're not considered first party by Microsoft? Is when you see your game shown at the third party event?
Yeah, and I guess that's the other thing. Is the rumor is there will be big third party things here as well, like Sony had at theirs, but obviously it's very hard to speculate about them. Yeah. Just remember, it won't be Elden Ring.
I will say one thing though. I mean, fucking hell, the Cyberpunk reveal at the previous Xbox thing was a big fucking moment, and that was not first party. So
yeah, dude, 100%. We think that Playground Games, makers of Forza Horizon, have created a second team to make the Fable game. The Perfect Dark reboot is rumored to be coming out of the Initiative, who are making an unannounced AAA, quadruple A game. We could see something from Mojang, possibly Minecraft related, but then who fucking knows nowadays? Could be anything. Everwild, which is Rare's new game that they announced late last year at XO19.
Oh, right, yeah.
Compulsion Games, they were made, what was it called? We Happy Few?
Oh yes,
right, yeah.
They're probably due something. They are now owned by Microsoft outright. Tell Me Why, which was the new game from the developers of Life is Strange. That is going to be published by Xbox, so that could be there. Also, Battletoads we haven't seen for a while. Crossfire X, which is the weird, massive Asian first-person shooter.
Oh shit! You've just reminded me.
Yeah.
I've got
there's a lot of shit here.
I've got access to Crossfire X actually.
Yeah, there's a beta, right, or something, or an alpha.
I think I've got a review copy.
Oh shit! Isn't that also the weird thing where like Remedy are making a campaign for it? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting. I don't know.
You just reminded me. Well, there's something that hopefully next week I can come back and say, "Oh, I've played this."
That'd be cool.
Hopefully. Ninja Theory announced a weird thing called Project Mara. They didn't really show much of it, but they had a trailer. Yeah. Obviously, Gears 5 wasn't that long gone, but could be more Gears. Likewise, there could be another State of Decay in the works at some point.
Yeah.
Obsidian, amongst other things, are rumored to be working on an unannounced AAA RPG, like either an Outer Wilds sequel or something big and like comparable. Age of Empires 4 is still kind of MIA.
Yeah.
Double Fine apparently have an unannounced IP that they're working on alongside Psychonauts 2. Yeah, those are the things I've kind of written down as things that you'd expect to see something from. Everything else is
Yeah.
Fucking who knows? Could be there, could be not. Could not be there.
Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah.
A new Top Spin game.
Dude, I'm there. I'm in. You've got me. You've got me.
Yeah,
it's quite fun in a way that they've got so many options to go with, because I think it's going to be, they need to bring it. They need to do something really big with this, because PlayStation 1 was very good, it was very high end, and obviously the third party stuff from Microsoft fell a bit flat. But
yeah,
I think they could blow PlayStation out of the water if they just get it right.
Yeah, I think PlayStation's event was good, but I agree with you. It's ripe for dunking on, as it were.
It's in a weird place because it's in a very good PlayStation in a very good position, but it's not like they did enough to sort of hold off anything. Like Xbox could do something crazy, or could just have a really epic show, and then suddenly we're all talking Xbox. So
yeah. One of the interesting things that they probably will be talking about or revealing is the so-called Xbox Project Lockhart, which is almost their cheaper version. So obviously they've got the Xbox Series X, and this is rumored to be called the Xbox Series S. For suck it, PlayStation. What's interesting, the rumors coming out of this Lockhart is that it's going to have the same CPU and the same SSD technology as in the Xbox Series X, but it will have a less powerful GPU, more in line with, say, the Xbox One X, which is still a beast of a machine. But the idea here is that it's going to be significantly cheaper than the Xbox Series X. And there was even some speculation of the pricing of these things. So one of the rumors of the pricing was that Microsoft were okay to take a bit of a hit on the hardware side of things with regards to this next gen of Xbox. So they were saying expect maybe a $400 version for Xbox Series X. So other people have been saying 500, but if they're trying to undercut PlayStation, which we presume that they're going to go in at 500, then 400 makes sense.
400 would be really surprising, I think.
Yeah, but even more surprising is Lockhart is rumored to be coming out at half that price, so $200.
No, that's got to be bullshit.
Well, so also keep in mind
that's the same price as a Switch Lite. Like how?
Well, yeah. Also keep in mind that Lockhart is meant to be a digital only version. I think it's intriguing, and maybe not 200, but I could definitely see like a 250, 299 price point for that. If we're looking at Xbox Series X at 400. I mean, Microsoft is a big company, dude. Like,
yeah,
they are the $3 trillion company in the world.
Bloody hell, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
So
it gets weird though, right? Because if we're talking, so let's say that it's 200 to me sounds ridiculous. 250 even sounds ridiculous. So if they start to get towards 300, then you're saying, would you be willing to pay $100 like more to get the actual Xbox Series X rather than this slimmed down digital version, blah blah blah. I just can't, like, for me it's got to be 300 and 500.
Well, dude,
I don't know why, but
the thing is, like,
like you said, maybe that's a hell of a hit.
Looking at Microsoft's strategy, it's bizarre, but it benefits gamers in the best way, right? Because they are like, hey, all of our games are going to be available on all of our platforms, regardless of if you've got an Xbox One X, an Xbox Series X, an Xbox Series S, or a PC. It doesn't matter. You're getting the...
I think that's right? the fascinating thing is that, like, Sony, when they talk about the PlayStation 5, it's clear that they see a generational leap as a really clear-cut thing. You buy a PS5 to move onto the PS5, and you buy PS5 games to run on a PS5. They're really not all that concerned about the previous generation beyond the amount of backwards compatibility they have to do to appease the bare minimum of people. And when they were asked what their version of Microsoft's policy about everything coming out and everything was, they basically said, no, PS5 games are for the PS5. That we're not going to release a PS4 version of Spider-Man Miles Morales, because that's not what we're doing here. Whereas you said, Chris, Microsoft are the exact opposite, where they want every game to come out and everything. They want all of their things to be Play Anywhere. They want all of their things to be Game Pass. And I think what they're doing is they really are sticking to their guns in terms of putting the ecosystem first. And what they want people to do is they want people to have their account where they handle all their social stuff. They want them to have their services like Game Pass or Xbox Live Gold. They want them to have their perks and their benefits like backwards compatibility and Play Anywhere and so on and so forth. And they want you to have your library, which no matter what console you have under your TV at the moment, you're building a library for everything you have in the future. And so that when people who are in the Xbox ecosystem are ready to take the next step up, everything's available to them. You got the Lockhart, which says, hey, if you don't like 4K or you don't have a 4K TV, this still has the benefits of loading times or high frame rates. You got that. If you want the most powerful console in the world, SSDs aside, then hey, we're making that as well. If you want to stick with your Xbox One this Christmas, like a lot of people will do, and not immediately upgrade, but still want to buy games like Halo Infinite and like Cyberpunk 2077, you're going to be buying versions of those games that will look good and look like they're meant to look on a Series X, even if you don't upgrade for 2 or 3 years. If you buy a PS5 in 2 or 3 years' time, guess what? You need to go out and buy a shitload of PS5 games. Microsoft is saying you don't have to do that. And that's going to make sense for a lot of people.
And this is where it gets really interesting, Jonesy, because this feeds right into your theory in a way. I think Sony are looking at this next generation as just that, a next generation of something that's going to be plenty of generations. Whereas I think Xbox is looking at it as saying, this is the last generation. And I think they're prepping for this kind of like, it's not 100% services just yet, but we are building a future for 100% services. We've got xCloud, you can run it on whatever you want to run it, and you just pay for the services. It's games as a service in the most overarching way possible.
It's funny because what, like, I do you know what? I think I have to just take back everything I said, because because you guys were talking, I was thinking if the model they're going for is smaller barrier to entry as humanly possible, then something like the Lockhart. If you say you spend $200, you get this that sits under your TV, and then you have access to everything. And there's that the barrier to entry is $200, and you can get xCloud. You've got like games, like you say, games of service, your Game Pass. You can just play whatever you want. Then suddenly it's like, why do they care about the cost of the actual unit that's under your TV? Realistically, because they're going to make so much money, like Netflix or whatever, every month, that they don't have to worry. Like they've washed their own face inside of like a year, so. Who cares? Kind of like the PlayStation 3 when they were making a loss on every unit they sold up until like a few years into it. No, you've won me over. Maybe Lockhart is the way to go, and that's the thing that makes people go away from PlayStation.
There is a strange, sorry Jamie, there is a strange inverse to that kind of strategy though, right? Whereby because I have a laptop, I know that I don't need to buy an Xbox Series X. I don't need to buy a Lockhart. I don't need to buy an Xbox One X. I don't need to buy anything. I don't need to do an xCloud. I've got my PC, and that'll work just fine. And even if the hardware on that fails, then I can go into the xCloud and just use my PC as a conduit. And what this kind of means is, guess what? When it comes time for me to buy a console, it's going to be a PlayStation.
Yeah.
Because why would you go and buy a Xbox?
Yeah, because if I want to play Halo, I'm fucking recording on the machine that's going to play Halo.
I suppose because it's Microsoft again, so I mean they're inextricably linked, like you said, to PCs anyway. But I guess maybe it's for the people that don't have a laptop. If you're an iPad person, you've got an iPhone, you have a tablet, totally. You don't have a laptop, you don't have a PC, then I guess $200 is like, I'll do that. Are you going to spend 550 quid or whatever on a PlayStation 5? Like, no. Why would I?
And
it's
and he could just be saving face for all we know, but I think you go back and listen to Phil Spencer interviews from recent times, and he'd argue that the Xbox knew they'd lost the console race like fucking probably 5 or 6 years ago at this point, and never, strictly speaking, tried to re-enter it. And I think if you presented your situation, Chris, to him as a case study, I think he would take you being a part of Game Pass to play Halo as more of a win than you buying a PlayStation 5 as a loss. Like he wants and in just being in that ecosystem, in knowing that you have an Xbox account and you pay for Game Pass and you're playing those games, he'd say you can buy whatever console you want, baby. You're still in our family.
We've got you.
Yeah. On one hand, he's like, you know what? You didn't pay $400 or $200 for an Xbox Series S or X. He said, but you know what? You did pay like $1,500 for your laptop.
We've all done it. Like imagine if the Xbox One had just had the same trajectory as the PlayStation 5. Neither of you in this past generation would have given Microsoft any money. But what has happened? You've both signed up for Game Pass in the last couple of years. We've played fucking Sea of Thieves multiplayer sessions. You know, we have engaged with that ecosystem more than we would have if they'd stuck on the straight and narrow. And so there's already some evidence that it's working.
Yeah,
that's a great point. That's a very good point.
Yeah, it's very funny. It's almost like Nintendo dropped out of the console race long ago, and people don't even take them into. It's just like Nintendo's Nintendo, and then there's the console race, right? Yeah. But now, what people are slowly starting to maybe come around to is the fact that Xbox is out of the console race as well. And what you have now is you've got 3 companies making consoles, but they are in 3 completely different trajectories.
Yeah, for sure. And this is the funny thing as well. Like you say, they're all massively independent. So we all now have Game Pass accounts. We all have PlayStations. We all have Switches. So it was the smartest thing they ever did was to stop fighting against each other and work together.
And I've got an Xbox as well for no fucking reason.
Yeah. Well, there we go. All right. Well, yeah. So that's the Xbox Series X live events that are going to be coming out July 21st to July 27th. The big one being on 23rd. We'll be covering it, obviously. So, be sure to hit that subscribe button and like our videos and, I don't know, follow us on Twitter or whatever the fuck you want to do. All right, moving on. So this is interesting. There are 2 games with a similar kind of thing happening to them. All right. So we have Crucible, which is Amazon's free-to-play, I don't know, arena-based shooter. Is that fair to label it as?
Team shooter here. I don't really know.
And then, of course, we've got a remastered game in the form of Crysis Remastered. Now, both are kind of going back to the drawing board in one way or another for different reasons. So I'm going to start with Crysis, okay, because this is an interesting one. So Crysis Remastered has been delayed by, give or take, a few weeks. And I find that quite strange that it's just a few weeks. And this is the reason why. They were meant to have dropped a gameplay trailer. As you're watching this, you should have seen that gameplay trailer. If you haven't seen the leaked trailer, then you could go out and find it. But the trailer leaked, screenshots leaked, people saw it, and the general consensus was basically them looking at it and saying, "What the fuck is this? This looks like garbage." Like the graphical fidelity of it, saying like it visually is not up to scratch. It is not what we would expect from a game that spawned the meme. Yeah, but can it run Crysis?
Right, exactly.
Right. So in response to that, fucking hell, I can't believe I'm saying this. They said that they delayed the game by a few weeks to polish it up. A
few weeks to polish it up.
What are they going to do in a few weeks? I mean, I guess unless they just technically you'd have to imagine that the game is finished. But are they just going to take these weeks, make everyone fucking break their back that works at this company, work 24-hour shifts, just up-resing textures? I just don't get it. Like, what's a few weeks earn you? I don't make games, so maybe it's entirely plausible. I don't know.
They're going to do what we said before. They're just going to adjust the sliders to turn everything up, and then they're going to like go, "Oh, we've done it now. It's finished."
We just need a few weeks to click on ambient occlusion. So
and it's going to run at 15 frames a second. And they're just going to say, "Hey, you asked for this."
Yeah.
What's mad about this is like it's that strange thing of like. The trailer was supposed to be coming out. The leaked trailer comes out. People see it and go, "Ugh, what's that?" And then they go, "Oh, that's not the real trailer. Don't worry, the real trailer's much better." And then it's like, "Where's the real trailer? We need a minute. Just hold on because it's not quite ready yet." It's like, "Oh right,
listen,
that is what it was going to look like."
It's not like it can't work. I mean, it fucking worked for Sonic, right? Sonic the movie.
But
then again, they fucking delayed it by like half a year. So
yeah,
I mean,
but hey, Chris. Second highest grossing film worldwide of 2020, just behind Bad Boys for Life. So the audience...
Was Bad Boys for Life the highest grossing film of the year?
That's shocking.
Well, yeah, because dude, no one's been to the cinema for 4 months.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, but still,
at the time of recording, Bad Boys for Life is the highest grossing film, both domestically and worldwide.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I know, right?
Jesus.
And it made like $200 million or something. It really wasn't that massive.
As a funny aside, there were some YouTubers. I can't remember their names or like all the names of this. I completely escaped me. But the story itself is quite funny. They noticed that. So they did like a YouTube video where they they noticed that like all the cinemas are closed, all the fucking box offices are like returning 0 for this week, 0 for that week, 0 for that week. So they're like, fuck it, you know what? We're gonna make a movie with a $0 budget.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're gonna try and show it in a couple of screens, and they managed it, and they got like the number 1 slot of like the box office
because they were the number
because
1.
they were literally like,
That's
oh yeah,
great.
5 people watched this movie.
I can tell you, I'm on Box Office Mojo right now. They last updated, the last day they updated their tracking for was the 30th of June. So so Tuesday. There were 3 releases, and between the entire top 10 grossed $35,000.
What were the names?
One was called The Wretched, one was called Becky, and one was called Followed. I don't know if any of those are yours.
Here's a question. Who the hell's still releasing films? Yeah. Like, just maybe take it, unless it's for that reason, because they knew they'd get into the top slots.
Well, yeah, exactly. On that, though, Tenet has been moved again to, was it August 12th or something?
The Tenet thing's just a fucking shit show. Like, just put a pin in it. I don't know. Like, just wait. Just admit that we can't predict when things are going to go back to normal. Stop delaying it by a month every month, and then just wait.
Yeah, you should also change the name of it.
Big Daddy Nolan really wants people to see that film in the cinema, but it can wait.
Yeah,
you should change the name of it to The Wanted 2 as well. You should be honest.
If he's so desperate for people to watch in the cinema, exactly. Wait for cinemas to properly fucking reopen, and then say, right, from now, in a month's time, you will see this film, and then go fucking ham on the advertising. Why not?
Yeah,
exactly. It's not going to change anything.
Exactly.
Anyway, so to the other game that has gone back to the drawing board, but this time in a much bigger way, is Amazon's Crucible, free-to-play team-based shooter. It's been withdrawn from general release. It's only been out for about a month, a little over a month.
Yeah.
And I guess no one played it. No one cares. I don't know. I'm feeling as well that it hasn't really been advertised that well, because I only know it because I look at like gaming news sites and all that stuff. I don't think I've seen actual trailers for this fucking game. But anyway, it's part of Amazon's first foray into video games. They've got the New World, which is an MMO, which they are still working on, which looks interesting. But yeah, this game was released in Steam back in May, but concurrent player numbers steadily fell to peaks of less than 200 players a day. This is like
shocking.
Yeah, this is like fucking Lawbreakers situation. And we all know what happened with Lawbreakers.
Well, and also Lawbreakers cost money. This doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, so Amazon and developer Rentless initially tried to retire 3 of Crucible's modes, focusing on just one. So it launched with 4 modes, and they said, no, it's not working out. Let's just have one mode that people can focus on, and we'll just like make that mode the best mode it can be. And it didn't help.
You know why that was because they had like 5 people playing this mode, 3 people playing that mode, and we've got to bring all these people together. Yeah. Let's just get rid of all but one.
So it's going back to beta. They're going back to the drawing board. I think there's still a little bit of a grace period that if people wanted to download it, they still can, and then they'll still be able to play it while it's in beta. But it's going into beta, and then I think it's going to go into early access if I recall correctly. But yeah, it's just.
How did they not just keep it in early access? This seems mad that it even launched. Like, they must have seen, if it was in early access at all before it launched, they must have known that it was not doing very well. Like, and they weren't pushing it. It wasn't getting the PR. Like, that seems mad to actually have even released it.
I just feel bad. I feel bad. Like, Amazon has obviously put a lot of money in this, and it's literally like no one cares.
Yeah,
and fair enough. You know, like if no one cares, there's a reason for it, because it's not. You're not getting the idea of what people want from a game, right?
Yeah,
right.
But it is kind of.
It's like the room for games. It's like the room for games. Like, you can't just throw millions of like dollars at something and then assume and think, well, this is how everyone else does it, and then you get a good thing out of it. You end up with a shit show that no one likes. So, but now it's going to become a cult classic because everyone keeps talking about the fact that it's been cult
classic for those 200 players, Jonesy.
Yeah.
No, I mean when it releases again, everyone will want to play it to be like, what is this game? No. I need to play it.
Can I be honest with you? You need to have a game that people want to play, that has an interesting hook that gets people interested, and you need to advertise it. I have not seen this game advertised personally. I mean, Fuck, I don't know about you guys.
I have seen 30,000 adverts for Raid Shadow Legends, and I've never seen an advert for Crucible. So,
right,
you know what? Right. None of us have ever played Raid Shadow Legends. I bet. So
that's true.
There's a middle ground there that you need to find.
That's true.
By the way, we are looking for sponsors. So, hey, Raid Shadow Legends, come on in.
But Raid Shadow Legends wouldn't be so bad if the ad reads they make people do weren't getting so annoying. Because like now we're seeing people I like do these like really long, heavily scripted segments, and it's like,
yeah,
they're awful.
Why? When did we get away from the whole thing of just being like, "Hey, everyone, download Raid Shadow Legends"? When did they write this like pre-packaged script where everyone has to go? It's got 3,000 characters, and my favorite is Long John Silver because he can do this ability. Now watch me spend the next 30 seconds using him and having a good time. It's like,
yeah, okay, all right, thanks, JonTron. Calm down.
Well, yeah. I don't know. People are going to make that money. I'm never going to. I don't think.
Hey, listen. If Raid Shadow Legends came to us with a big fat check, guess what we're doing in the next podcast?
Going to make that money. I'm not. I shouldn't make. I don't want it to sound like I'm criticizing anyone for taking.
Yeah,
the deal.
you shouldn't hustle shame, Jamie.
No, I'm not trying to hustle shame. It's more I'm angry. I wish that Raid weren't so insistent on having these long, wordy scripts that accommodate everything. I wish they would let people advertise in their own words.
Didn't we do a Raid Shadow Legends for All Time Gaming?
Yeah, for Facebook.
For Facebook.
Yeah, it was a sketch. Yeah. Not what. Yeah, exactly. Again, securing the bag for someone else in the end.
Like, not for us.
Yeah, fucking as we were flailing with our last breaths.
Yeah, it's like, hey guys, do this Raid Shadow Legends video. By the way, you're going to be made redundant, so
bye.
Exactly. Yeah. See you later.
Well, anyway, that's fucking hell, a 1 hour 50 podcast. So we just can't get away from it, boys.
People are getting their money's worth.
I think next week I'm going to have just one fucking news item, and that's it. And you guys must just lap it up, all right? Because I want next week to be a 1 hour podcast. Please,
why? You're giving people less of what they want. The 2 hour podcast family is growing every week, Chris. You can't deny the movement.
You know what we should do is just split this down the middle, and then we've got 2 1 hour podcasts.
Part 1 and part 2.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. And we can have like previously on the SuperShow podcast, episode 28.
And it's just Jamie going mental. I can't believe you said this. And then people want to go back and watch it.
That'd be so good. All right. We're
not using my temper to advertise things. I'm not down for that. I'm not down.
Okay.
We've been doing it for like 5 years.
Okay. What about code word for the end of this video is Jamie's temper tantrums.
No, it makes me feel so self-conscious.
Okay. What about?
Jason's got it. I can literally hear the cogs turning.
No, I don't have it. But like, what about like I don't know, Raid Shadow Legends has got 3,000 characters or something like that.
Yeah, tell us your favorite. No,
the comments will just be an advert for Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We wouldn't be paid for it, so let's not do that.
That's true. That's very true.
All right, let's just call it the temper trap. All right, the temper trap.
I like it. Pithy.
It's nice.
The temper trap.
I can't wait for the day where I end one of these podcasts and don't feel full of regret.
I will say as well, I had a quick look whilst we were chatting. There are like loads of haikus on the last video that we've missed out. So maybe we should do a little, not now, but we should put together a few haikus.
Now I feel doubly bad. I feel like I called people out for not writing haikus and they fucking did.
Okay, hold on. I'll tell you
no,
what.
there were not loads. There was a few. We could do
we're close to 2 hours anyway. We're not going to be able to record anything else after this. So you might as well hit us up with a couple of haikus.
Go on,
okay. So this is from Benjamin Pressy. He says, "We all miss you, Chris. Please come back to the show soon. You're the best by far." There's a haiku for you.
I'll take that. Why didn't I fucking put that as the...
Then what about this one from Profound Chair? "Come back, Chris. We need that sweet, sweet South African pronunciation."
Yeah, but hold on. That's not a haiku, though, is it?
It is, isn't it? "Come back, Chris. We need that sweet, sweet South African pronunciation."
But is that
I think it's a haiku.
"Come back, Chris." 3 syllables.
Come back,
wrong.
Chris.
Wrong already.
Come back,
we
Chris.
Need that sweet. 5 syllables.
Maybe that's not haiku.
South African pronunciation.
I thought it was.
That's so not a haiku.
So Jonesy doesn't know how to do haikus. That's cool.
Okay, let me give you another one.
It's 575.
Is it 575? Is that what it is? Okay, Here's another one. "I miss Chris and ATG. His accent is great. Let's fight him in PvP."
Also not a haiku. He's got it wrong.
They're getting close. Calm down.
But that one rhymed though, didn't it?
It did rhyme a bit.
Also, like, how do you do syllables when you got acronyms in there? Like, how many syllables? Is ATG 3 syllables?
8. I'd say it's 3 syllables.
It's
8.
three
Then that's the worst haiku of all time.
Hey, listen, I'm not going to belittle the people that take the time to try and attempt a haiku, and I will say thank you for each and every failed haiku that you send.
They were great. If they weren't haikus, it's just as good.
Your haikus are bad. You need to work on them now.
I've got one more.
Get practicing, guys.
Fair.
Your haikus are bad. You need to work on them now. Get practicing, guys. That's a fucking haiku.
I've got one more, possibly not haiku.
Up. Okay, go for it.
Yeah, people comment if Jamie fucked up that haiku.
I probably did.
This is from ASB64. He says, Chris is here in spirit. Did he die? Jonesy's wet feet.
No, that's again. That's not.
Do you know what? I think people have got the spirit.
No,
Chris is here in spirit. 6 wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the middle? What's the next part?
Did he die?
Did
3.
he die? Wrong. Next part.
Jonesy's wet feet.
Jonesy's wet feet. Wrong.
Yeah, but you know what? No, that's how they do haikus in Abu Dhabi. So Dubai.
I'm not trying to shame people for the effort, but
you are. You totally are.
No. It's the efforts. You'll get 10 out of 10 across the board. It's the execution that gets. I'm hearing a lot of 3 out of 10s, a lot of 4 out of 10s.
Wow.
They have put the effort in to do the haikus, and the thought was there. So
we appreciate you. Well,
I've had a shock.
Jamie might not appreciate you, but surely Jonesy and myself appreciate you.
This might be the worst podcast of my life. I'm sweating now. I'm sweating.
Oh, sweaty Jamie. Maybe that's the code word. Sweaty Jamie's temper trap.
I think this might be a haiku.
Go on.
What did you say it was? 575.
I think it's 575. I've probably got it fucking wrong, knowing me. That's just what I need now. Is for this whole time I've just got the definition of a haiku wrong, and I've been just slandering people left, right, and centre.
I must admit I don't know how many syllables it's supposed to be, but Kerry Baldino said, "No, I need more. No, I need more. Can use less feet on screen though. Can use less feet on screen though.
Could use less feet on screen though.
More Chris, less feet.
More Chris, less feet." That's 474. I think that'll give him a pass.
Okay, so I've got rules applying to writing haiku. There are no more than 17 syllables total. Haiku is composed of no more.
No more. So you can have less, you just can't have any more.
Yeah. Haiku is composed of only 3 lines, and it says typically every first line of haiku is 5 syllables, the second line has 7, and the third has 5. So by adding in typically, I would imagine that there may be.
I think that last one, Jones. Was that from Kerry Baldino? Did you say that last one, Jonesy?
Yes, that was.
That for me, that one and Crail's ones are like the closest to being what I thought a haiku was.
Okay, so this is an interesting thing. Many people have been taught in schools that haiku is a 575 syllable form of poetry. In Japan, however, they don't actually count syllables at all, but rather sounds. And it's a sort of urban myth that haiku should be 575 syllables in English, despite how widespread that belief is.
I thought a sound was a syllable.
Well, no,
I don't know.
Syllables are a little bit more because it's pauses in words, right?
Yeah, like my name, Alex, would be Alex. 2 syllables, 2 sounds. Alex. Chris.
Carissa. That's what they mean.
Carissa.
Because I feel like that's how sometimes No, because
Carissa explains it.
When Josie says that Japanese it's broken down in sounds, I can hear them going like Carissa.
Okay, hold on.
Because that's sometimes how those words become like translated almost, like how Metal Gear Solid becomes Metal Gear Solido.
Yeah. How about this one? A fixed form 535 syllable or 535 word haiku is sometimes known as a liun.
Liun.
L-U-N-E, loon.
L-U-N-E.
But there you go. That was Haiku Corner for your haikus for Chris. So thank you very much for all those submissions.
Let's Jonesy, come on. Let's give a let's have a theme song for Haiku Corner. Like, just a little jingle. Go on.
Oh I'm no good with jingles. Why'd you always throw them at me? I've got no idea. I can't. I'll write one for next week.
Okay, we'll wait for in the next episode.
We'll do a haiku corner jingle and we'll have some more haikus. So if you want to drop any more haikus for this week, maybe something that brings together. I will write a haiku for haiku corner next week about this episode. Ooh. And then we can. And if anyone else has got any, drop them in the comments, and I'll do a little haiku corner at the very end.
Nice.
If we can be bothered.
I like it. So. And your code word is the temper trap. And thank you very much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on a podcast platform of your choice, if you are watching or listening on either, why not try the opposite version? So if you're listening on a podcast, why not check out the YouTube and drop us a subscribe, maybe like the video, maybe leave a comment, because all of that good stuff helps. I mean, it doesn't hurt you, right? So you might as well. And with that, I will say thank you very much, and we will all see you next week.
Bye. See ya.